10th of August 2023, electric cars and the danger of fire. I've made videos on that. There's enough to be said there. They're a fire hazard. One of the things that people may not know is that an electric bus has the batteries overhead. And if a fire takes place, generally speaking, it's overhead the fire will be. Now, that may not be the case in every case, but that seems to be the case. Electric cars have the batteries underneath the seats, from about where the pedals are for the feet right back to where the beginning of the back axle is, and it's in there, and sometimes it is in comes up under the back seat and all of that. Now the thing is, are a fire hazard. There's 2 ships already sank. If you drop an electric car into the deep ocean, it will still burn underneath the ocean. I hope to carry out some tests when I get time. I'll show you this, that they burn underwater. They provide their own oxygen. They create a thick red, yellow, black smoke and flame, and it's extremely hot, 1000 degrees at least. It'll melt copper. It's very, very hot. I accidentally dropped a battery with rubbish into a fire one time to an range, and it caused unbelievable stuff. It was blue flame and white flame and everything, and very, very intense. Lucky enough, I got away with it because it was only a small phone battery. It's lithium ion. So the trouble with all these cars is that if the thing goes on fire, what do you do? Now, I've meant to talk to you about the ferries. They are effectively a hotel on top of a car carrier, and I've told you about the British insurance advice is that you must keep damaged electric cars 15 meters away, which is 50 feet from anything else that can be damaged, including other cars. So if there was a fire or damaged car going on a ferry, by right you'd only get about 1 other car on it, but in fact they're all there and they're liable to go on fire. The biggest cause of fires in New York last year was the little scooters with the lithium ion batteries in them. Now the thing about it is, folks, that the Volkswagen, is it ID, or that Volkswagen electric car, and it's a good, lovely looking car. It does not have levers to pull out the door. When you open the door, you do it with a button, and this is the problem. If there's a problem or a fire, the doors may not open and you could be locked inside. And even there is buttons, I wouldn't be too sure that you wouldn't be locked inside. So you can imagine a lady going along with her 2 kids in the back, and suddenly this goes on fire. And it's essential that once it's known that there's a problem, that you pull in and get sorted quick. Do not wait around to see what happens. Now, one of the problems I see is that if you look at all the fires, all you have to do is Google electric car fires. Just Google it and look down while we're doing it. You'll see at least 5 dozen of them going on fire. The flame comes out underneath where you get out. So what do you do if you open the door and there's a flame buzzing out there? And it usually doesn't come out everywhere. So there'll be 4 seats, and there'll be 1 seat with this that you can't come out, and there'll be another seat that there might be another chance. So the best thing, in my opinion, and I'm not a professional health and safety person, I'm only trying to save people as best I can until I'm sure the Irish government will provide advice in due course. Well, if you have good patience, that is. But the thing about it is that I would say, the way I'd look at it is, when the fire happens, there's about a 70% chance the flame will come buzzing out under one of the doors. There may be 1 or 2 doors that's not that problem. Don't forget, you have to stand on the ground. So if it's buzzing out here, you might be able to tip over the far side and get out the far side and get out the kids or whatever. Now the other thing is, what if you can't get out? And for that reason, I recommend, and I know I'm going to get one to show you, a small lump hammer, not a claw hammer, not a ball pen hammer. Any hardware store will have them. They're a lump hammer. Now you can get a big one. They're used for splitting blocks. No, there's a small one with a head maybe about that, if you looked at it from the front, about the size of that phone. Not too heavy. And there's just a blunt edge on both sides. Now, some of them have plastic handles. If you're using the plastic handles as they are, that's all right, and that might be the best way. It might be necessary, if they're too long a handle, to cut the handle off a bit. Most people could use them even if they're only that length. Now, in that case, a wooden handle is the right thing, because the wood won't fray. The plastic handles are all stringy, and if you cut them, you have pieces sticking all over the place. So I'd go for the wooden handle, strangely enough. Or if you're happy enough with the handle that's in it, that it's not too long, I'd go for that. A small lump, L-U-M-P, any garage will, any hardware will know exactly what they are. A small lump hammer. I have one here somewhere. So I found this here. This is one I have here. It's a big long handle one. That's very awkward and it's a bit heavy. It's heavy now for a lady to use. I get the smaller one, get one shorter here, as small as you can. Now you can get a claw hammer which has two claws here for pulling out nails. If you do them, you'd be better off cut them off with an angle grinder. Don't have sharp objects flying around. But this, it lets you out. But where will you store it? Like, it's a bit long. I'd go for about that length and a lighter handle like that, and leave it just somewhere where it'll be easily got. I'd leave it near the driver's place, perhaps under the seat if there's such a thing, and just have it there. Now another great thing would be to drill a hole into the handle here, down there. Anyone with a drill press or even an electric drill a hole down here about 3/8 inches or about 10 millimeter, and put a good piece of cord in there. You'll get it in hardware shops, a kind of a fancy white cord, and just bring it around and tie a good knot, and then you could put it around your wrist, you see, and it won't fly away, because you could hit something and next thing it flies out. So if you had a bit of a handle like that, you could use it, and that could save your life. Break all, break out, get out of there, and get out quick. And if there's kids in the back seat, get them out, pull them out, and look, see what way the flames are going, and go up the wind and get away from it. That's the best cure for an electric car fire. It's a good pair of boots, and get away from it if that's possible. There's going to be a sag about this. Any bit of common sense makes clear that there's going to be a problem with these fires. And I just fear, I really do, it's not just that I'm against the green agenda, that somebody will lose their lives. And my videos, I hope, will cause that bit of a scare. Anyone wants to contact me, I do whatever I can. I think we need to bring pressure on government to bring out some kind of guidelines. I cannot see how you can have them on a ferry. A ferry is a car transporter with a hotel overhead. And don't forget, in the case of the Fremantle Highway, the sailors, 23 experienced Indian sailors, experienced men, sailors, jumped overboard. And there's only one reason they did that, and that is because the deck got so hot that it melted their footwear. And that's what you could be looking at, and you sitting it in the bar or in the restaurant of a ferry. It's a very, very serious situation. It's going to have to be addressed, and it's another good reason to have nothing to do with either hybrids or electric cars. They're a death trap in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Okay, if I can help someone with that, at least it's not the end of the world to have a hammer. Somebody might come along to me saying, only for you, I was dead, and get a hammer, a light lump. That's a lump hammer. But anything to do, you know, have it enough to break a window, or if there was by right there'd want to be a scrapyard somewhere or a dismantler that had let you go out and learn how to break the windows of cars. A good stroke will break most windows. A good stroke will break most windows, folks. That's it. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I know an awful lot of Greens will think I'm trying to defeat the government's green agenda, but that's a separate issue. This is immediate health and safety. At least with a wind farm, it may wear you down over a lot of time, but it won't kill you as a general rule. So that's the different thing. We don't want opening the paper someday with all the great attributes of a family and their daughter or their son or some person or some well-known person who dies. We have had a death with a fire on a boat in the last week. Very, 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 very sad occasion. And this can happen. And sure, if we can help to avoid that with a wee bit of forewarning, please do so. Spread the message around. If you don't agree with me, then give me a thumbs down, and so if you do agree with me, give me a thumbs up, and please feel free to comment underneath. Bye bye, thank you.